I'm Harland from Guscott Heating Services. We are a specialist boiler and air source heat pump contractor in the southeast England, mainly operating in Kent. We primarily focus on high efficiency systems, whether that's boilers, heat pumps, and more recently solar. And we excel on customer service, focus on the customer delivery, and it's really important to us that every customer is dealt with uniquely and optimized efficiently. Most recently, over the last year, we've changed our systems, including switching to Payaca to enable us to have a method of scaling that volume. So we've done a lot of work in the past of doing that. And now it's all about sales, marketing, and looking to scale really into larger volumes of work and just growing. And we were using Surefire and they were good. They just didn't have the renewable aspect that we needed at the time. So we needed something that would encompass our vision. And key things for us were integration with AI, where they were going to focus on over the next couple of years, renewables, which really aligned with us. So just making sure that the next things we picked were aligned with our vision of becoming a more renewables focused business. We've switched systems quite a few times over the years as we progressed and, identified different areas of where we want to be in. So we were really worried about that transition naturally. So it definitely took me a long time to sort of make the decision, but then I realized that it was just holding us back. Jack was really intent on pushing and changing, and I held it back. And I realized actually I'm holding the whole company back. So once we made the transition, it started to work, and you could see the benefits that Payaca had, and it just enabled us to do things in a lot better. The pipeline was better, the management of the sales was better, and just obviously it was more unique to air source heat pumps, and which was what we needed at the time. It's always difficult to migrate your data, but Payaca was always there when we needed help. And from previous experiences, the best experience we've had in migrating data so far. So we were pretty pleased with that. As far as headaches go, it wasn't as bad as we've experienced in the past. And, it was, you were there at every point, there to help us with the automations. We felt really well supported throughout, really. I'd say we got value from changing to Payaca pretty quickly once, after the month or two of migrating the data. And then after you obviously see the nuances and quirks of it. It takes a couple of months, maybe, after you've got in and really start to see the benefits and how good they are. But you can see it actually, you can probably see it quite quickly with the little help widget. When you're struggling to utilize it, it was really handy to be able to tap into a question and find the answer without having to ring contact all the time. So I think the thing that really stood out for me was actually the immediate help on the AI widget, which was really good. I've always had support from Payaca really quickly. And then when AI doesn't answer the question, I often find that you guys come back and, double check that it's been answered correctly. And if it hasn't, you then follow it up with questions. But it's nice to know that you got the support there when needed to make quick decisions. And then if it's not a functionality, we've raised things in the past and you listen and things get actioned. So it's nice to be listened to and heard, knowing that these things will be done in the pipeline. I think my favorite features are how quickly we can build a quote. So that's definitely a big thing for me. Especially we can build quotes really quickly, standardize the templates. They look good. They got optional extras. So I think the quoting layouts are really, really good. I think the information that you can put in there is really good. The pipelines are really good, like the way they move through and you can keep a track of things. I think the visibility over everything is well organized, that I can jump in. I know where things are at. The automations to follow up people, when you move someone into a pipeline because you haven't been able to contact them, rather than send an email, it does it automatically. The scheduling is quite easy to use, visible. And a lot of it, if you want to do a bit yourself, quite often we'll go in and change and alter things without needing any help, which is nice. I think the things that worked in terms of renewables, obviously you've added D&I applications, you built specific forms for us for the heat pumps or generic forms that we could use. And then your integrations with companies like Spruce have been really helpful. And then just ongoing that you are open to collaborations with other renewable companies to make things more efficient and integrations. I think that's been really good. The reporting from the start was something that we raised is really important. And I know you guys really registered that and been working on it. So I know you made an improvement a couple of months ago, as a start, which had some functionality. But recently dropped another update and we're getting to grips with it now and it looks so much more improved. So knowing that you guys, are actioning things, that we've asked for and probably other people have asked for, and we know that they're going to be worked on and, you're delivering on it. And then even when it's drops, you're listening to further recommendations if it's going to be improved, not just stopping and then working on something else. You guys have really improved, rapidly really since the year we've been using you, which is what we want as a company, because we don't want to work with a company that stagnates and stops. We want to make sure that you guys are, continuously improving and making our jobs lives easier. And with every update, hopefully it does that. So I think the companies that would suit Payaca are larger organizations that would benefit from having some time to maybe invest in it initially, but standardizing like the templates. And I think larger organizations will benefit the most purely for the standardization of like the suppliers, the purchase orders, the reporting. Payaca, is working on getting all of these things in one place. And as I say, for us as an organization, it's just been really easy to use really for all of us. So yeah, I think larger companies definitely would benefit massively. Not to say that smaller companies can't use it, but I think, companies that's maybe a 5, 6 or above that have some people in the office that can take a bit of the load of, because, there are things that you can't just plug and play. There's still things that need to be looked at, worked on. You can't, I think companies that have got people in the office that can spend a little bit of time optimizing sales and such, I think to really get the most use out of it, I think you need a few people in the office to be able to spend a little bit of time working on it, collaborating with you, giving you feedback and working with you to make it optimal. We've always found over the years that we've needed different sources for different reporting, and which is why we came to Payaca originally. It's because we really want everything in one place if we can, rather than like a CRM system, a sales system. So it's really important for us that, this company that we picked would look to encompass the things like reporting, scheduling all in one place, because it's just harder for us to manage otherwise. So yeah, we're really excited to see the new update with the reporting, which I've had a brief look over, and we're going to be diving into that really soon. And then, you've recently announced a new update for the purchase orders that you can retroactively upload them in, and it will give you profit margins, because there's a few things that we still need to work on in Payaca, admittedly, but to know that you're putting things in place for the people that still have a bit to do. There's an option for them to do it retrospectively, which is really important because everyone's busy. So it's nice to know that now we can go back on these jobs and look at the profit again. Yeah, so really excited on those two things, really, reporting and access to profitability in one place. Yeah, so I think the thing I'd say to people when choosing a CRM system, if they're listening to this, is just take your time, make sure you align it with your vision for the future, and that the company you're aligned with have similar views, really. As I said, we wanted to partner with someone who's really really renewables focused. That was really important. Technology focused was really important, that want to scale themselves and will keep up to date with the movement of these parts, and just make sure that they hear you and, they will listen to the, issues that you have, worries. I mean, I had a lot of worries, obviously, with the migration of data, and it probably took you long. We had a few calls where I can imagine it was frustrated, but I think what showed was that you were persistent and you answered my calls. You didn't just give up and get frustrated. You understood that I was worried and you were patient with me, which, I think, really worked in that favor. So yeah, I think just really thinking about who you're picking, making sure they're aligned, making sure that what they're doing fits in with you, and so as I say, for us, it was really important that the company we chose wanted to continuously improve on things, and you guys have backed that up, really. But we delayed moving CRM systems probably for about 6 months, and it really probably halted our journey. If we'd done it 6 months earlier, we would have been 6 months ahead, So yeah, I'd say align your vision and where you want to go and make a decision, and don't hesitate, because hesitation on time costs money. I do think I would have, now looking back on it, I wish I pulled the trigger sooner, but I definitely think, having a conversation, really getting your questions ready for a CRM system, for example, make sure that they align with your values and what you want, and then making sure they're held to account is really important. So just, if they tick the boxes, and you can afford it, or it's within your budget and you think it's going to work, give it a go, but make sure that everyone's held accountable and the objectives are, met. And if there isn't, make sure that you have a conversation about it. Yeah, it's been really enjoyable working with you at Payaca and your team, and just seeing the progression of Payaca. As I say, it's nice to work with companies that are forward thinking and are working together to make that journey to sustainability that little bit closer, really.